My beloved child, I want to speak to you about something you have never fully dared to face within yourself. For a long time you have lived as though standing on a fragile boundary moving forward, yet always afraid that one small misstep could make everything collapse. You cannot fully name this uneasiness, yet it greets you every morning when you wake and follows you every night as you toss and turn beneath unspoken thoughts. You tell yourself that if you could just try a little harder, be a little stronger, push a little further, then you would be okay. But deep inside you know you have been losing something precious, the peace your soul once had when you were close to me. My child, I have seen you walk through days when the smile on your face no longer matches the silent cry in your heart. I have watched as you tried to appear steady before others, while inside your heart felt like a house after a storm, furniture overturned, walls cracked, yet you quickly pulled the curtains closed so no one would notice. I do not blame you for any of this, for I know you are tired. You were forced to grow up sooner than you wished to be strong at times, when all you longed to do was sit down and weep like a child. You have learned to stay silent, learned to hide your wounds, learned to tell me your pain through your sighs instead of through words, and it is in those sighs that I hear you more clearly than any spoken prayer. You think I do not notice, when all you can say is a broken whisper, "Lord, I can't take this anymore." But it is those very words that thunder before my throne. You do not know that in the moment you felt utterly alone, all of heaven grew quiet just to listen to that small trembling cry. You believed you were standing alone before life, but there has never been a single step you took that did not carry the imprint of my presence beside you. Yet what I want you to understand today is this: the greatest danger to your soul is not the storms outside, but the gradual hardening of your heart toward my voice. You have endured so many blows that you feel you must harden your heart in order to survive. You have grown accustomed to protecting yourself with coldness, with indifference, with the familiar phrase, "It's okay, I'm fine," even when you are not fine at all. You have grown used to filling the inner emptiness with work, with shallow conversations, with fleeting pleasures. Slowly you no longer recognize when I am drawing you near, when I am gently touching your wounds to heal them. You hear so many voices every day, opinions, comparisons, expectations, praise, criticism, that they blend into a noise so loud my whisper seems distant. I do not shout over the noise. I wait for you in the quiet places you often avoid. For in the quiet, you must face the questions you have tried to ignore. Where are you going? What are you clinging to? To whom are you giving your soul, my child? I do not speak today to frighten you or to make you feel ashamed. I come to call you away from a cliff you do not even know you are approaching. There are paths that appear peaceful and reasonable to the human mind, but inside them lies a cold emptiness where the soul slowly loses its ability to feel my life. You may continue your religious routines, attend places where my name is spoken, bow your head in prayer now and then, but if your heart does these things merely out of habit, without longing for me, without missing me, when you drift away, that is the sign your soul is being pulled off the path I designed for you. I know you have faced things that made you question me, prayers, seemingly unanswered seasons where my silence felt too long, wounds inflicted by others in my name. All of it whispered to you, is he really there? Does he really care? And without realizing it, you built a thin wall between yourself and me. You still believed in me, but from a distance. You still spoke of me, but as one too high, too far, too unreachable for the fragile, fragmented reality of your life. I have come to break that illusion. I do not sit on a cold, distant throne. I walk with you through your hardest roads. I sat beside you in the chair where you cried out of loneliness. I stood next to your bed during the nights you could not sleep because your mind was in turmoil. I was there when you typed long messages, then erased them when you tried to speak the truth, but no one truly listened. I did not merely witness these things, I felt them with you. And because I love you, I cannot remain silent while you are gradually accepting distance from me as something normal. Today I call your name once more, not to condemn you, but to awaken you. Like the gentle shepherd who leaves 99 sheep to find one lost, I am seeking you among the many voices competing for your heart. I do not want to lose you to things that glitter briefly and vanish, leaving your soul emptier than before. I do not want you to exchange the life within you for the acceptance of people, for the appearance of success, or for the fear of being seen as a failure. There is only one voice worth giving your whole life to, the voice that leads you back to me, the true source of your existence. If today, even faintly, there remains a small desire in your heart to return to me, even a whisper saying, "I don't want to live like this anymore," that is where I begin. I do not ask you to change everything at once. I invite you to do one thing. Stop, turn your face toward me, and admit that you need me. From that moment on, I will do the rest. My child, the silence you have felt these past days is not my absence, nor is it a sign that you have been abandoned. On the contrary, it is within these seemingly empty moments that I've been creating space for your heart to become more sensitive to the spiritual reality you have forgotten for so long. You have lived too long amid noise, to the point that you can no longer discern the difference between the voice of fear and my voice. Fear always urges you to hurry, to do more, to prove your worth through outward achievements. But I am leading you somewhere deeper, a place where your soul finds rest, as I once spoke to my people in the wilderness. Be still and know that I am God. You have not lost me, but you have allowed your mind to drift into a land where noise has become more powerful than the peace I gave you from the beginning. My beloved child, you do not know when it began. You only know that every morning when your eyes open, instead of gratitude for a new day, you are immediately covered by layers of worry, unfinished plans, and lingering concerns carried over from yesterday. These burdens form a thick fog that dims everything before you, making the world feel heavier, darker, and every step more burdensome than it once was. I have seen you striving, grasping every small opportunity just to maintain the fragile sense of stability you hold. But my child, the stability you cling to may very well be a familiar cycle that keeps you from realizing how far your heart has drifted from me. Because that supposed stability can become a beautiful cage, a comfortable room that quietly shrinks your heart and leaves your soul without space to breathe. I did not create you to live in dim, airless spaces. I created you to walk in the light, for your heart to breathe freely in the freedom I prepared for you. You must understand that true danger does not arrive with shouting threats or violent storms. It comes quietly. It comes by making you accept, little by little, a life without me. When that happens, your soul begins to slip into a gray zone, not fully dark, yet no longer light. There you may not make drastic mistakes or commit glaring wrongs, but neither are you fully turned toward me. Your joy fades, your spirit dulls, and the simple delight I once placed in your heart becomes faint. You do what is right, but feel no life. You pray, but feel no stirring. You worship, but feel no warmth. You show kindness, but slowly run dry. My child, this is the territory the enemy loves most, because in that place you think you are fine while your spiritual sensitivity is quietly being drained away. I am revealing this not to accuse or condemn you, but to awaken you from this gentle spiritual slumber. I come to call your soul back to its original breath, to that place where you knew how to walk without pressure, where you loved me, not out of fear or habit, but because you once deeply knew that I was your source of life. You used to lift your eyes to the heavens and feel as though the stars were shining just for you. You used to whisper, "Father," and tears would fall because your heart was so tender that even my slightest touch lifted you. Do you remember back then you did not follow me out of duty? You followed because you knew I loved you. And now I am inviting you back, not to the past, but to the life you lost while chasing things that felt important but did not nourish your soul. My child, I know why your heart has become cautious, distant, even hardened. You have been betrayed, wounded by those you trusted. You have been misunderstood, misjudged, even abandoned at the very moments you needed care. These wounds were not small. I do not minimize them. They pierced the deep places of your soul, the places where painful experiences can distort how you see me. When people hurt you, you begin to suspect my love. When they left you, you thought I might leave too. When others were indifferent, you assumed my silence was the same. But my child, I am nothing like them. I do not disappear when you are weak. I do not scorn you when you stumble. I do not tire when you repeat the same mistakes. I have been with you since before your first cry, and I am still here now. There is no wound of yours I have not carried in my heart, no tear of yours I did not see fall. That is why I am calling you out of the thick armor you have wrapped around yourself to prevent further hurt. You think you are stronger when you grip everything tightly and let no one into the deeper places of your heart. But in truth, when you close yourself off, you also shut the very door through which healing enters. You cannot have true peace while holding tightly to things you were meant to lay down. You cannot hear me clearly when your heart is full of fear of being hurt again. And I know you often struggle to let go, not because you want to hold on, but because you no longer believe anyone will catch what you release. But, my child, I am here. I am ready to take everything you no longer have strength to carry. You only need to release it. I will do the rest. Do not think that because your heart has drifted from me, I value you any less. Never. My love for you has not diminished in the slightest, no matter how many missteps you've made. I do not love you because you are flawless. I love you because you are mine. Even when you wander, I walk the same path to find you, like the father who ran toward his returning prodigal child. I do not ask why you left. I do not question whether you deserve my love. I ask only one thing. Do you want to come home? Only that. And today I ask you this question again, not to judge you, but to open a new road before you. If you say yes, I will lead you through the night until the light returns. If you allow me to place my hand upon your heart, I will heal every fracture you have tried to hide. You do not need to be strong before me. You only need to be honest. Child, hidden deep inside you is a fear you have never named. The fear that if you surrender everything to me, you will lose the things you have been clinging to for so long. You fear that if you open your hands, everything will fall apart. You fear that if you step away from the familiar, you will fall into emptiness. You fear that if you let me lead, I will take you onto roads you cannot control. You do not yet see that it is these very fears that keep you in a weary cycle, wanting to come close to me, yet afraid to release what is familiar. But my child, the control you cling to is an illusion. You cannot shape the future through worry. You cannot hold peace by gripping everything tightly. You cannot protect your heart by building high, cold walls. The control you believe is strength has become chains that weigh your soul down more each day. I am not calling you out of the familiar to throw you into darkness. I am calling you out so I can lead you into a new space where your feet are no longer bound by what has exhausted you for so long. Just as Abraham was called to leave his homeland and step into a land he had never seen but was promised, I am calling you into a new journey your soul was created to live. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to trust that I will never lead you to a place where my love cannot sustain you. If you hesitate, that is okay. I am more patient than you realize. I know every heart carries its own history of wounds, failures, and memories that make trust difficult. That is why I will hold your hand at the pace of your own steps, not rushing, not pushing, but also not letting you remain in places that no longer belong to you. I know there are days when your heart feels torn between two voices, the voice of faith and the voice of fear. Fear says that if you follow me, you will lose. Faith says that if you follow me, you will find yourself again. Fear shouts, while faith whispers. And because fear is loud, you assumed it must be true. But my child, truth never comes in noise. Truth always comes in stillness. Only when your soul becomes quiet can you hear what I have been placing deep within you, that you are not being forced, you are being led, you are not being pushed, you are being carried, you are not losing, you are being found. I have seen every moment you tried to hide your fragility behind an outer strength. I have seen every moment you looked in the mirror and told yourself, no one can know I'm hurting. I have seen every moment you were too tired to cry, so you simply stared at the ceiling and exhaled. I heard your whispered prayers in the middle of the night, prayers you thought no one could hear. You thought I was silent, but I was closer than ever. You did not sense me, not because I left, but because your heart was wrapped in so much worry that my presence could not reach the deepest place in you. My child, I have not come to rebuke your weakness. I have come to gather it into my arms, to turn it into the beginning of a new journey. I want you to remember that you are not a wandering soul accidentally lost in this vast world. You are the one I thought of before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are the dream held within my purpose, the breath I myself gave the one I call by name. You do not merely exist. You were destined to carry a mark that no one else can replace. Everything you have been through, no matter how painful, no matter how difficult, has not diminished my intention for your life in the slightest. There is no mistake of yours that can make me withdraw my mercy. There is no failure of yours that can make me hesitate about the plans I have for you. Even when you lose your way, I still see you as clearly as on that first day when I placed my first breath inside you. Child, light is not merely the absence of darkness. It is the presence of me in every breath you take. When you draw near to me, it is not only your mind that is renewed, but your heart that is healed and your soul that is revived. I come to restore what you thought would never return: deep peace, unwavering hope, and the trust you believed you had lost. You do not realize that with just one moment of openness, I can make barren ground bloom again, ground you were sure had died forever. The journey ahead does not require you to be strong. It requires you to surrender. True strength is not found in your ability to endure everything alone, but in your willingness to let me step in to rule over your fears, scatter the darkness, and quiet the chaos within you. Surrender is not defeat. It is the declaration of faith that you belong to me and that I will not allow any power to snatch you from my hand. So, my child, come a little closer, just a little. I am not asking you to leap. I am asking for a small, fragile, but honest yes. And as you draw near to me, you will remember something you have forgotten for a long time, that I have never left. I have never abandoned you. I have never turned my back for even a single second. The times you could not feel me were not moments of my absence. They were moments when I was shielding you from things your eyes were not yet ready to see. I have been beside you with every step, with every breath. If you step back, I remain there. If you run, I pursue. If you fall, I bend down to touch you, even before you have the strength to cry out. I am the faithful one, and the love I have for you cannot change and cannot fade. This is the moment for you to open your heart and let me in deeper, not to frighten you, but to rescue your soul from the quiet exhaustion you have carried for far too long. I am standing here right at the door of your heart, waiting for one small whisper: I am here. Please lead me, that is all. I will take care of everything else, my beloved child. You have become so accustomed to the dark that at times you forget you were made for the light. You have lived so long amid anxiety, responsibilities, expectations, and clashing voices that you have begun to see yourself as just a small fragment in a vast world, weightless, voiceless, without clear form. But my child, I did not create you to be a nameless speck of dust in the universe. I formed you with a clear intention, with a calling no one else can replace, with a worth that no force can dim. From the moment your breath first filled your lungs, I placed within you a spark no darkness can extinguish. That light is not your talent, not your intelligence, not your outward strength. It is my life within you. No matter how many dark days you have endured, no matter how many barren places life has thrown you into, that spark remains. In fact, it is often in the moments you feel most broken that the light shines brightest, for when the outer shell cracks, what is inside is revealed. You see your breaking as an ending, but I see it as an opening through which my light can shine out. As has long been spoken, I will turn the darkness before you into light and the rough places into level paths. My child, I am doing that even now. I want you to see that the limits you have felt for so long are not chains around your soul, but reminders that you were never meant to manage everything alone. You were not created to carry the full weight of life on your small shoulders. You were not made to know everything, to protect yourself from every threat, or to rely on your own strength to find your way through the dark. I designed you with a need to lean, with the capacity to be soft, with a heart that feels, that trembles, that knows it needs me. Dependence on me is not weakness. It is the original design of your soul. When you pull yourself away from that source, your inner being begins to dry up and you do not understand why. But when you turn back, my child, even by a single small step, you will find yourself revived in a way unlike anything you have known before. My child, there is something I want you to know clearly. I do not speak to you so that you drown in guilt or self-reproach. I speak so you can see the door I am opening before you. In this past season, you have judged yourself far too harshly. You have measured your worth through the lens of failures, through moments you fell short of expectations, through the piercing words of others. Those things have clouded your vision, causing you to forget how I see you. I do not look at you through success or failure. I look through the eyes of the Creator. I see your true worth even when you cannot. I see the potential still dormant within you, even when you believe everything is lost. I see your strength even in the moments when you feel weakest. I see you, my child, and I do not see you the way the world does. So many times you have said to me that you just want peace, but peace does not come from avoiding every challenge. Peace comes from standing in communion with me, where fear no longer has the final word in your heart. Peace is not when life becomes perfect. Peace is when your soul knows where it belongs. And when you belong to me, no storm can steal the deep peace I have placed inside you. It is not temporary comfort or fleeting ease. It is a river that flows from my presence, refreshing your heart, even in the hottest, harshest places of life. You are beginning again from the very place I prepared for you. The pain you endured was not the end of your story. It was the foundation upon which I am building a version of you that is stronger, deeper, and wiser. I waste nothing. Every tear you shed has been gathered by me. Every whispered plea uttered in desperation has reached me. I will not allow your pain to be meaningless. I will turn it into a seed for something new, a watering stream for the sprouts you have yet to see, a force that propels you into the land I promised your soul. But before you step into the new, you must understand a truth. Many overlook your soul can only grow when you are honest with yourself. There are truths you have avoided because they hurt, because they worry you, because they force you to admit you are not as strong as you wish to be. But my child, that very confrontation is the beginning of freedom. Freedom does not come when you hide your wounds. Freedom comes when you bring them into my light. I do not ask you to be strong before me. I ask you to be true, and it is in that truth that I will lift you up. I am leading you onto a new path, a path not built on fear, but on truth. Not built on your need to understand everything, but on your awareness of who walks beside you. Not built on your attempts to control every step, but on your trust that my hand is holding each one. Now is the time for you to learn what only those who dare to believe truly understand. Real freedom begins when you stop trying to become what others expect and begin becoming who I intended you to be from the very beginning. My child, the moment you realize you need to return is not a sign of failure. It is the beginning of divine wisdom. Many times you have thought that stopping admitting exhaustion or confessing that you cannot keep going is weakness. But in my eyes, it is the sign of a heart that is still alive, still able to discern what is true, still able to hear the call drawing you back to your source. A dead heart does not feel weariness, does not feel pain, does not long for restoration. But you, my child, your heaviness, is proof that the best part of you has not been extinguished. You have lived a long time feeling as though you carry a burden no one understands. You carry small worries that cling to you daily, vague thoughts that slowly eat away at your peace, tiny fears without shape or name, yet strong enough to steal your sleep and make you doubt your own worth. You have assumed these burdens are normal, that everyone feels this way, but your soul knows they are not normal. They are signs that you have allowed too many things to rule your heart, while the true source of life has been pushed out of the center. You do not realize that when I am no longer at the center, everything else becomes too big, too loud, too powerful, and too capable of shaking you. But I do not tell you this so you feel wrong. I tell you this so you will see that you do not have to live this way. You do not have to accept weariness as a permanent condition. You do not need to carry those anxieties as obligations. You were created for a different rhythm, the rhythm of peace, of trust, of a heart at rest, because it knows it is being kept. As the ancient psalm once sang, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." My child, that is not someone else's story, that is my invitation to you. I see clearly what has troubled your heart in this recent season. Relationships you hoped for but were never returned to, promises people made and then forgotten, old wounds you thought had healed but were merely covered by the dust of time. You have tried to appear fine on the outside, but I know there is a small corner inside you that aches whenever you remember what has been. You do not know where to place these things, whether to keep them, to let them go, to confront them, or to forget them. My child, the things you refuse to face are the very things that keep controlling you. And the wounds you have not brought to me are the very wounds I long most to heal. Your heart has endured more than you realize, but you assume the pain is gone simply because you no longer cry. In truth, the pain has not vanished. Your heart has simply learned to bury it. You have kept those wounds in the dark so long they merged into the rhythm of your days, becoming a silent stream beneath your thoughts. You have come to believe that strength is survival, that everyone must endure this way. But my child, I did not create you to merely endure. I created you to live. I did not form you to remain wounded. I formed you to be healed. I did not speak life over you so that you would sink into sorrow. Every wound of yours is already woven into a restoration I have been preparing for a long time. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to be restored. My child, for you to be healed, you must return to the place where your soul first lost its softness. Not to relive the pain, but to let me touch the space you have guarded so tightly, the place you have allowed no one else to approach. I do not want you to live as someone merely surviving. I want you to live as someone who knows they are loved, kept, and guided every single day. But a soul can only be restored when you are willing to admit that you cannot heal yourself. All your efforts to be fine, to push through, to rise again are meaningful, but they are not enough. Not because you are weak, but because you are human, and humans need the hand of the one who made them. Do not let small pride keep you from coming near me. Do not think you must be perfect before you approach. Do not think you must be strong to be worthy. If I accepted only the flawless, I would not have received Abraham when he doubted Jonah, when he fled David when he fell, or Peter when he denied me 3 times. I do not require perfection. I require truth, the truth that you need me, the truth that you cannot mend your own heart, the truth that you are not stronger than your pain, but you become strong when you place that pain in my hands. From the beginning, I have never once abandoned you. Those moments you call luck, those close calls where disaster nearly happened, those times you were protected without realizing none of that was coincidence. It was I who covered you in ways you cannot imagine. There were moments when you wanted to give up, but something invisible lifted you to your feet. That was me. There were days you could not understand why you were still alive, why you had not collapsed, why you were still standing, and it was because my hand was holding you. You survived things that should have crushed you, not because you were capable, but because I kept you. And now I am leading you into a new season, a season where you must learn to lay down what has been draining your soul. Not everything you hold is meant to be kept. Not every memory you carry belongs to your future. Not everyone you try to hold on to is meant to walk with you. Not every emotion you cling to is truth. You must learn to discern what I am using to lead you forward and what is pulling you backward. I want you to be lighter. I want your heart to have room for the peace I am about to pour in. But a soul filled with anxiety cannot receive peace. A heart full of fear cannot receive strength. You must set something down before you can receive something new. But do not be afraid, I will not leave your hands empty. I will fill them with something better, something deeper, something truer, something that has always belonged to you. My beloved child, I know that letting go is not easy for you. You have grown accustomed to living in control, to protecting yourself, to carrying everything on your small shoulders. Somewhere along the way, you began to believe that if you loosened your grip, life would fall apart again. But my child, that very belief has pushed you further from me, has made you fear that I will take away what you love, and has caused you to look at me through a lens of self-defense. I do not blame you for building those walls. They were the way you survived when you had nothing else to cling to. But because I see how long you have lived behind those barricades, I have come today to remove them gently, piece by piece, so you can receive what I have prepared for you. Sometimes the very things you call safe are nothing more than a gilded cage. You fear change because you were wounded during past transitions. You fear stepping out because you once lost something precious when you opened your heart. You fear trusting because you were betrayed. But my child, if you hold on to those fears, you will never step into the new thing I am inviting you into. The change I bring is unlike the changes of the world. It does not come to break you, but to free you. It does not come to take something from you, but to return you to yourself. You look at change with worry, but I look at it as a door. And if you dare to walk through it, you will find a space wider, brighter, and safer than any place you've ever stood before. I know there are things within you that you believe are finished, yet they lie underneath like stones at the bottom of a stream, seemingly still, yet always shaping the current. There are memories you never mention, but which still provoke unconscious reactions. There are old words spoken long ago that you assumed were forgotten, yet they still influence how you see yourself. There are relationships long ended, but still leaving marks that make it hard for you to trust love again. You do not realize how much of your life has been shaped by old reflexes. And my child, I want to look directly at those things, not to dig up pain, but to bring them into the light so that I may heal them. Not all of your wounds were inflicted by others. Some came from the silence you imposed upon yourself. You did not allow your heart to show its weakness. You did not allow yourself to breathe when you needed breath, to cry when you needed release, to pause when you needed rest. You have been too harsh with yourself, while I have only wanted you to learn how to soften again. Softness does not make you weak. It makes you able to feel. A hardened heart cannot feel pain, but it also cannot love deeply, rejoice fully, or live authentically. A softened heart may feel hurt, but it can also be healed, renewed, reborn. And my child, I want your heart to return to that place. I also know that choices now stand before you, choices that strain your soul more than anything else. There are doors that seem reasonable but do not offer life. There are invitations that sound good but carry no spirit. There are wide paths that lead straight into emptiness. I do not want you to choose what is comfortable simply because you fear facing the truth. nor do I want you to choose what is logical simply because it fits others' expectations. You were not created to follow the noise of the crowd. You were created to follow the call within. You were not designed to walk by the demands of the world, but by my guidance. But to hear me clearly, you must learn to separate yourself from what is exhausting your soul. You must lay down responsibilities you have taken on that I never asked you to carry. You must discern between the voice of the conscience I placed within you and the voice of fear you have grown accustomed to. My voice will never rush you to keep up with others. It will never pressure you. It will never compare or demand. My voice brings peace, even when it leads you into unfamiliar paths. And when you hear that voice, you will know it is mine because it leads you toward life, never toward dead ends. Do not think this journey is one you must walk alone. I am not calling you to go by yourself. I will go before you to clear the path. I will walk beside you to keep your pace. I will follow behind you to shield you from unseen dangers. I am the one who surrounds you on every side. And when you stand before what frightens you most, you will realize I was there before you arrived. Not one place you are about to enter is unfamiliar to me. Not one challenge you will face lacks a victory I have already prepared. Not one tear you are about to shed finds me unready. I have already prepared my shoulder to catch it. You have been strong for a very long time. Now let me be strong in your place. You have held yourself together long enough. Now lean on me. You have been running without rest, trying to overcome everything in your own strength. Now slow your steps and let me take your hand. I do not need you to know everything, to understand everything, or to do everything. I only need you to say, I am willing. When you are willing, I will do the part you cannot do. And from this point on, you will begin to see that life no longer weighs on you the way it used to. For I am leading you to a place where your soul will truly rest. A place where you will no longer carry your old wounds. A place where fear no longer has the right to speak. A place where your heart will be healed by my presence. You have come a long way, my child, but now you are about to come home. My child, you have been standing at this threshold for a long time, hesitating, worrying, doubting, and even turning away at times because you were afraid that taking one more step would force you to face truths you did not feel ready to touch. But my child, it is precisely because you have reached the limit of your own strength that I am using this very moment to open a new season for your soul. You have grown used to living in cycles where one day looks just like the next, where you struggle to fulfill your responsibilities, while your heart remains heavy, where you keep telling yourself things will be okay, even though deep inside, you know that okay is just a temporary word, not true life. You have been living in a half-awake, half-asleep state, half open, half closed, half believing, half doubting. Because of that, you cannot fully taste the joy I long to give you, yet you also cannot fully let go of the things that exhaust you. You are like someone standing at the water's edge, one foot, ready to step in, the other still glued to the shore. But now I have come not to pressure you with fear, but to lead you into a deeper realization. You cannot step into what I have prepared for you if you keep gripping what no longer fits your soul. Look back at all that has passed. The burdens you thought you had to carry were never ones I placed on your shoulders. The expectations you chased were not my call. The responsibilities you strapped onto your heart in order to prove your worth only pulled you farther from me. You have carried so many things you were meant to lay down long ago. You have carried the need to make everyone else happy. You have carried the fear of always having to appear fine. You have carried the anxiety that, if you are not good enough, you will be forgotten. All of these, my child, did not come from me. They came from a quiet loneliness in your heart that you have never dared to face. And now I want you to hear this clearly. You were not created to live in order to please people. You were created to walk in the purpose I designed for you. I see that you have been breathing in short, shallow breaths. as though your heart has never truly been allowed to expand. You have lived many years as someone who is not allowed to be weak, not allowed to tremble, not allowed to need help. You thought your strength was proven by the fact that no one ever sees you cry, but you do not realize that what pleases me is not withheld tears, but a true heart, daring to show its weakness before me. You have held yourself together for so long, my child. And because I see that you have pushed yourself to the point of exhaustion, I have brought you into this season, a season of maturing in quietness, a season of inner transformation, a season where you no longer have to fight alone in the Taft seas. Dark. Know this, there are seasons when I will use stillness to build you. There are seasons when I will not answer right away, not because I do not hear, but because I am preparing something far beyond your understanding. There are seasons when I let you walk a seemingly empty road, not because I abandon you, but because I want you to learn that you do not walk by feelings, but by trust. You think my silence means absence, but in truth, I am moving more than ever. My silence is not distance. It is the canvas upon which I am painting something new in your soul. Child, the new thing I am about to do will not only change the outward shape of your life, it will change the very structure of your heart. I do not merely want to adjust a few crooked places. I want to rebuild, to lay new foundations, to lift you higher than you ever believed you could go. But for that to happen, you must be ready for a process. The process of dismantling old ways of thinking, the process of tearing down walls you built around yourself, the process of cutting away what no longer brings life. I know this is not easy, but my child, true life has never sprung from what is easy. It springs from what is real. Life appears when you dare to open your heart, dare to trust, dare to let me lead. There are things within you that have been asleep for far too long. Your natural joy, your innocence, your passion, your desire to live fully, all have been covered in dust over the years. You assumed they were dead, but they have only been waiting for one breath from me to awaken. I will not allow you to lose the beautiful things I placed in your soul. I will awaken them again little by little, until you realize that you are no longer just surviving but truly living. I do not usher you into a new season by pushing you forward. I bring you into it by holding your hand. Even if you tremble, even if you still hesitate, even if you cannot yet see the path clearly, I am here. I am not going anywhere. I will move at the pace your heart can handle. I will wait when you slow down. I will lift you when you fall. I will light the way when your vision blurs. And I will remind you again and again, you are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not lost. You are being led. This is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where life is no longer suffocated, where your heart expands, where fear no longer sits in the driver's seat. And you will see, as you let me lead, your soul will grow lighter in a way you have never known. My beloved child, now I want to take you into the deepest part of the journey of knowing yourself, the process of learning to see life through my eyes, not through the wounds, disappointments, and limitations you have carried for so many years. You do not realize that for a long time you have seen the world through eyes clouded by fear and old memories, making everything before you appear darker than it really is. You have believed that life holds nothing new, that tomorrow will only repeat today, that good things are not meant for you. But my child, it is not that goodness is absent. It is that you have been looking through a dimmed mirror. I have come to wipe that mirror clean, so your soul can finally see the light I have long placed around you. You have lived many days unable to feel joy. Some mornings you only want to pull the blanket over your head because you think, it's just another day I have to get through. There are nights when you lie still in the dark, wondering why your life keeps circling the same patterns. You never speak it aloud, but I hear every question in your heart more clearly, even than the prayers you utter. You do not realize that it is not life itself that is exhausting you, but the thoughts clinging to you like unshakable shadows. You have let things that are not from me define your worth. You have believed that if you are not good enough in the eyes of others, you will be forgotten. You have believed that if you do not recover quickly from your pain, you will be seen as weak. You have believed that if you show your weariness, someone will use it to wound you further. But my child, none of that is true. I know you have had to be strong in seasons when all you wanted was to let go. I know you have fallen into the darkest corners of your own soul, places no one else ever noticed. I know you have walked through days when nothing but breath and the smallest ember of faith kept you from collapsing. I have seen it all, and I have never turned my face away from you. So when I tell you that you no longer need to live in constant defense, believe me, you do not need to guard yourself before me. You do not need to appear strong before me. You are allowed to be weak in my arms. You are allowed to tremble without being judged. You are allowed to exhale and say, I don't know what to do anymore, and I will answer, I know, I am here. You do not have to walk any farther alone. What exhausts your soul the most is not the great events of your life, but the quiet tug of war between what you know is right and what you are actually living. You know you need me, yet you still try to manage everything on your own. You know you should pause, yet you keep running. You know your heart cannot carry so much, yet you hold on to everything because you fear that letting go means losing something. That inner conflict has drained your soul more than any external battle. That contradiction between knowing and doing has kept your heart from ever resting. It is always tense, always waiting for the next bad thing to happen, always afraid that if you loosen your grip even slightly, everything will collapse. But my child, I did not create you to live in tension and self-protection. I formed you to live in peace. Peace does not come when everything is perfect, but when you know where you stand. And when you stand in me, nothing outside of you can take away the peace within you. I do not promise a life without storms, but I promise to be in the storm with you. I do not promise that you will never be wounded, but I promise that no wound can destroy your soul. I do not promise you will always see the next step clearly, but I promise my hand will never let go of yours. I want you to begin looking at your life from a new perspective, not from fear, not from old experiences, but from hope. Hope is not an illusion. Hope is the lamp within you that shines even when the outside world is still dark. Hope is the gentle voice saying, the good is not over, more is coming. Hope is the strength that helps you take one more step on days you think you have nothing left. Hope is the assurance that I am at work behind everything, even when you cannot see it. You think your soul is empty, but I see beneath the fatigue a hidden wellspring, and it takes only one drop from me for that well to rise again. You have lived through many things that trained your heart to be cautious. So when I invite you into a new season, you feel afraid. Afraid that if you hope, you will be disappointed. Afraid that if you open your heart, you will be wounded again. Afraid that if you take one more step, you will stumble just like before. But my child, not everything that happened will happen again. I do not lead you in circles, I lead you forward. You are not going back to the old place. You are moving toward the new. What you need now is not full understanding, but trust. Trust that I am doing something good as I lead you through these seasons. Just as the ground must crack before a seed can sprout, just as the rain must fall before the soil can soften, just as dawn must tear through the night before light appears, so it is with your soul. Sometimes what feels like breaking is simply the sign that something new is about to emerge. You do not need to fear transition, for I am in the transition itself. You are no longer who you used to be. You have grown through your tears. You have endured through long nights. You have softened through my touch. You have learned to love deeper, to understand more fully, to hear me more clearly. You have traveled farther than you think, and now I am preparing to lead you into the next chapter, not one you will enter with fear, but with a quiet strength rising from within. Let me step into every corner of your soul. Let me reshape the way you see yourself. Let me turn the pages of your past not to make you relive the pain, but to show you how every detail led you here to this moment where you begin to truly live. You are not lost, my child. You are being guided. My child, now I want to speak to you about something most people never have the courage to face: the transformation of the soul. Not everyone realizes that there are seasons when I do more than heal you, I transform you. I do not simply patch what is torn, I renew the entire fabric. I do not merely tidy the room, I rebuild the whole house. You thought I only wanted to bring you back to normal, to a place of good enough, but my love for you does not stop at rescuing you from pain. My love wants to bring you into a fullness of life you have never experienced. Transformation often feels like loss at first, because to become new, you must leave behind what once made you feel secure. Those old things may be habits, perspectives, ways of dealing with problems, or even things you once called safe. But when I open something new, your world begins to tremble, not because I am destroying you, but because I am shaking loose everything that no longer fits the life you are stepping into. You feel as if your foundation is being dismantled piece by piece, but that is the moment when I am rebuilding your foundation. No transformation happens in comfort. A seed must break before it grows. The soil must be turned over before it can receive seed. A house must be taken apart before it can be rebuilt. And so it is with your soul. You will feel yourself changing, and sometimes the change brings emptiness, confusion, even the sense that you are going backward, but you are not. You are entering a season where inner stillness matters more than any noise outside. I know there are days when you feel unlike yourself. Things that once made you happy no longer touch you. Fears that once ruled you no longer have power. Relationships that once occupied your mind suddenly fade into the background. You think you are becoming indifferent, but you are growing. You are changing. You are being lifted out of what no longer brings life. You are leaving the lowlands to step into higher ground. Some things cannot go with you, not because they are bad, but because they are too small for the soul that is expanding within you. With every step you grow, I enlarge your capacity. You will find yourself less afraid of others' opinions because you no longer live by their approval. You will be less shaken by their words because you know my voice is the final one. You will begin to discern what nourishes you and what drains you. And as you release what no longer carries life, you make room for what I am preparing. I also know there are moments when you feel empty, suspended between two seasons, no longer belonging to the old, but not yet touching the new. This is where many people panic. Yet this still place is where I do my deepest work. My child, do not fear this stillness. Do not fear this slowing. Do not fear this emptiness. It is not a sign that you are going the wrong way. It is the sign that you are exactly where you need to be. Every rebuilding has a moment when the soul stands in the middle, not in bright light, but no longer in thick darkness, held in a holy silence I use to breathe new life into you. In that silence, I am inviting you to examine yourself. Where have you placed your hope? What have you been leaning on? What have you declared important? What have you allowed to govern your fears? When you begin to answer these questions, you will feel something lift off your shoulders. That is me removing weights you were never designed to carry. When you step out of this still place, you will realize you have changed in ways quiet yet profound. Your mind will be clearer, your heart softer, your faith deeper. Things that once stressed you will no longer control you. The things I whisper into your spirit will sound clearer, sharper. You will realize that before you were living as someone searching for an external peace to fill an internal void. But now you know the source of life is within the place where I dwell. The transformation I am working on is not only so that you may become stronger, it is so that you may become freer. Freer from fear, freer from the expectations of people, freer from the past, freer from comparison, freer from the things that once kept your feet bound, free to follow the deepest call of your soul, the call I placed within you before you were even formed. And as you live in that freedom, you will begin to realize that life is not a series of anxious days, but a journey of trust. You will be grateful for the hard moments because they help you grow. You will be grateful for the silent seasons because they teach you how to listen. You will be grateful for losses because they make room for what is new to come. And above all, you will be grateful because I have been there in every season, not only when you were strong, but also when you were weak, not only when you believed, but also when you doubted. My child, this is no longer the chapter of survival. This is the chapter of resurrection. My child, what you have been through is not only so that you might be stronger, it is to prepare you to carry the responsibility of light. You were not born just to live an ordinary life, getting by, avoiding pain, or merely maintaining existence. You were born to shine, to carry life, to become a witness of what I have done for you. But before you can step into that calling, you must understand a very important truth. Light cannot be entrusted to a heart still divided between truth and illusion, between my voice and the noise, between trust and fear. You have spent a long time in the quiet place where I have been rebuilding the foundation of your soul. But now you must understand that this quiet place was never meant to be the destination. It was the place where you could recover, become still, and see more clearly the things that once clouded your vision. Now that the foundation is stronger, I want to bring you out so you can see that your life is not as limited as you once thought. You have lived too long under a low sky, believing that dreams belong only to those who are stronger, more advantaged, with fewer scars from the past. But my child, it is precisely the ones who have been broken that I choose to carry the light the farthest, for they do not shine with their own perfection, but with humility and truth burning within them. Remember this, I am not making you new just so you can feel lighter. I am making you new so I can entrust you with things I could not give you while you were still carrying so much hurt, fear, and confusion. I am preparing you to live a life of purpose, a life in which every step you take bears the imprint of my presence. But in order to receive what I am about to place in your hands, you must learn to walk as one who belongs to the light that is. You must learn to hear me more clearly, to follow me more confidently, and to let me lead you, not by force, but by force, the willing surrender of your heart. For many years you have acted as someone who has to take care of everything alone. You held tightly to every decision, afraid that if you stepped back even a little or entrusted any part of it to me, everything would fall apart. But look back and see the seasons in which you lived by your own strength always left you exhausted. Yet the seasons in which you surrendered into my hands, even trembling, never ended in disappointment. When I lead you, the doors that must be closed will close. The doors that must be opened will open, sometimes not at the time you hoped for, but always at the time you need. Therefore, it is time for you to learn the lesson. Every spiritually mature person must learn to walk, not by your own sight, but by your trust in me. Do not wait until everything is clear to move forward. That is not faith. Faith is when you know my hand is holding you, even though you do not yet see the path clearly before you. You do not need to know everything. You only need to know me. When you know me, you will know that I do not lead you into harm. I lead you through places that strengthen your soul, widen your compassion, and deepen your inner maturity. The season you are about to enter is not only a season of healing, but also a season of discernment. You must learn to recognize my voice among 1,000 other voices. You must learn to see what comes from me and what is merely the echo of fear or temptation. The world will always offer you invitations that sound very reasonable. Choose the easier way. Choose the path with less pain. Choose what calms your fears the fastest. But those invitations often lead to emptiness. My voice, even when it leads you through unfamiliar paths, always leads to life. You need to train your heart to become more sensitive, like a watchman standing on the city walls, listening carefully in the night to discern which sounds signal danger and which signal peace. You cannot afford to surrender your heart to voices that make you close up, shrink back, tremble, or doubt the very place where I am leading you. You belong to the light. Therefore, you must learn to recognize the light even when it appears only as a small flickering flame within your soul. Child, I know that when I say you are about to step into a new chapter, part of you feels excited, but another part feels anxious. You ask, will I be enough? Will I stumble again? Will I make mistakes? But I want you to know that I am not asking you to be perfect before entering this new season. I am asking you to be honest. You may step in with trembling hands. You may step in with many questions still in your heart. You may step in carrying wounds that are not yet fully healed. I am not demanding that you be free of all fear. I am asking only that you do not let fear rule you, because you are not walking alone. I go before you. I walk beside you. I come behind you. I surround you as the mountains surround Jerusalem. If I lead you somewhere, I take responsibility for that journey. Your responsibility is not to protect yourself from every possible danger. Your responsibility is to listen and follow. When I speak, step forward. When I pause, rest. When I slow down, be still. When I open a door, walk through it. When I close one, trust that the closing is part of your protection. I am leading you into a season of clarity, a season in which the other calls on your life will grow dim and my voice will become more distinct in the depths of your soul. A season in which you will not only know me by knowledge but by experience. A season in which you will not simply survive each day but walk with purpose. And I will be there in every step you take, for this is a season I ordained long before you realized you needed it. My child, when I say you are entering a season of clarity, it does not mean that every question will be answered at once or that every mystery of your life will be solved in a single moment. The clarity I am speaking of is not a harsh light that exposes every detail in one blinding flash, allowing you to see your entire life path as if it were a neat map. This clarity is a gentle yet unwavering light that leads you step by step deeper into yourself, deeper into me, and deeper into the purpose I set over your life before the world began. It does not come in noise, but in stillness. It does not come when you run faster, but when you stop long enough to hear my voice, the very voice your soul has longed for, often without recognizing it. There are things within you that can only be seen when my light shines into the depths of your inner being. Fears that seem small but have quietly controlled you for years. Old patterns of thought you assumed were gone but still shape how you react. Wounds you believed had healed but still cause you to flinch at love. I do not bring these things into the light to shame you. I bring them out so that you may be free. You have lived long enough in inner regions no one could touch, not even you yourself. And because I love you, I cannot leave you imprisoned there any longer. The light I bring to you never harms you. It does not condemn, nor does it accuse. It invites. It invites you to see clearly the things you need to lay down so that you may be lighter. It invites you to see clearly the things I am renewing so that you may become steady. It invites you to see yourself clearly, not through the eyes of others, not through old memories, not through wounds you have carried, but through my eyes. And when you see yourself through my eyes, you will realize that you are not as small as you once believed. You are not as fragile as you feared. You are not the failure you once imagined. You are one I have called, one I have kept, one I have shaped, with a tenderness more intricate than anything on this earth. You must learn to stand firm against the deceptive voices. For when my light begins to shine inside you, the darkness will try to linger. It will whisper, "You're not good enough," or "You will fall again just like before," or "Nothing has changed. Everything will be the same." These voices do not come from me. They come from unhealed places in your soul or from old experiences trying to pull you back. But you must know that fear only has power when you listen to it. When you turn toward me, fear loses its place. To hear me more clearly, you must train your heart in one essential practice: inner stillness. Not the silence of your lips, but the quietness of your soul. When your thoughts stop shouting, when your worries stop running wild, when you no longer try to control everything, those are the moments you hear me best. I do not speak through haste. I do not shout through chaos. I whisper in peace. And the more you quiet your heart, the clearer the distinction becomes between my voice and the echo of your anxieties. Clarity does not come only from what I speak. It also comes from what I correct within your beliefs. There are things you have believed for years that were never true. You believed you had to be fine all the time. You believed you were not allowed to be weak. You believed that opening your heart would inevitably lead to pain. You believed your worth depended on the eyes of others. You believed you had to take care of everything because no one would stand with you. But my child, these are stories written by fear. I have come to rewrite the truth for you. The truth is, you do not have to strain to be worthy of me. I chose you long before you ever knew me. The truth is, you are not loved any less when you are weak. It is in your weakness that my love becomes even more evident. The truth is, you have never been abandoned, even when you thought you were alone in the night. I was there so quietly at times you mistook my presence for absence. Yet it was in those silent moments that I was working the most. The truth is, no one can take away what I have placed inside you. No human word can erase the value I have carved into your soul. When you begin to believe this truth, you will feel yourself changing from the inside out. You will no longer chase after validation. You will no longer be shaken by criticism. You will feel lighter, more open, more whole. You will no longer cling to people or circumstances for a sense of safety, because your safety will no longer come from outside, it will come from me. And as you live in truth, clarity becomes the light that guides your steps. You will no longer have to guess. You will no longer have to rush. You will no longer have to prove anything. You will simply walk in the light shining before your feet, and that light will never leave you. It may seem dim when you are confused. It may seem hidden behind worry. It may seem covered by your tears, but it never goes out. It remains within the deep place of your being, like the flame I lit in you the very first day you came into existence. When you return to me, that light grows stronger. When you listen to me, that light grows clearer. When you obey me, that light becomes the way you walk. So be courageous and step into the clarity I am giving you. Do not fear change. Do not fear loss. Do not fear the return of old emotions. Do not fear the past trying to pull you back. I am here, steady, unchanging, your rock on which you can stand without trembling. The season of clarity is not only so you may see what I am doing, it is so you may see who you are, the one I have called, the one I am shaping, the one you never imagined you could become. My beloved, I know that in this season you are living through many things, distract you, cause you to doubt, and pull your heart in many directions. But true maturity is not when you have all the answers, it is when you can keep your heart at rest, even when the answers have not yet been revealed. You have gone through many moments when fear and confusion made your heart sway. Whenever something unexpected happened, you immediately imagined the worst, as if your entire life hung by a single fragile thread. You reacted too quickly to things that were not always true, and sometimes you created stories that made your burden even heavier. I do not condemn you for this, but I want you to understand that it is time for you to learn a different way of living, the way of someone who knows they are standing on solid rock, not sinking sand. Your peace will not depend on whether circumstances are stable. It will depend on whether your eyes remain fixed on me. When your eyes turn toward me, everything else falls into its proper place. When your eyes turn toward me, fear loses its power. When your eyes turn toward me, you will see that everything unfolding in your life is not random but carefully arranged by the hand of the one who loves you more than you love yourself. To let your soul become steady, you must learn to live from the inside out, not the other way around. The world teaches you to react to circumstances. I teach you to respond from depth. The world teaches you to rely on your emotions. I teach you to stand in truth. The world teaches you to hurry. I teach you to move at the pace of wisdom. And when you live from within, you are no longer swept away by the changes around you. The winds may shift, but you do not change direction. The night may grow dark, but you do not lose your way. People's words may waver, but you will not collapse. I know you often ask, how do I keep my heart at peace with so many things happening around me? My child, the secret lies in returning to me the moment your mind begins to unravel. You must not let your soul drift too far before you come back. With just a whisper, "Lord, bring me back," I will immediately pull you into a safe place. With just one deep breath in my presence, the darkness loses its power. With just one moment of pausing, I will pour light into every corner where fear has been hiding. But for this to happen, you must learn to distinguish the voice of your own mind from the voice of my spirit. There are moments when your mind cries, "Not enough, not capable, not worthy." But my spirit says, "You are chosen, you are covered, you are led." There are moments when your heart whispers, "It is too dangerous, do not take another step." But I say, "Rise, walk forward, for I go before you." There are moments when old memories tell you, "You have already failed." But the truth I placed within you declares, "You are being renewed day by day." You must train discernment the way a skilled craftsman trains his hands. At first it will feel difficult, but the more you listen, the more familiar my voice becomes. The voice that never leads you into confusion, never shames you, never draws you away from life. My voice may correct you, but it always carries peace. It may warn you, but it never throws you into chaos. It may call you to change, but it never drives you into despair. That is how you will know it is me. In this season, I am opening your eyes to see what you could not see before. You will recognize relationships that are no longer healthy. You will see habits that must be laid down. You will notice thoughts that must be replaced with truth. You will realize that expectations people placed on you must be removed. You will see that many burdens you carried existed only because you had not yet learned to say no. You will discover that some things must be left behind, not because you lack love, but because you need freedom. I am leading you into a level of maturity where your choices are not driven by emotion but by my guidance. Often you think strength means continuing to endure, but my child, true strength is knowing when to pause, when to walk, when to open your heart, when to listen, and when to release with maturity. A mature person is not someone who fears nothing. It is someone who knows what is worth fearing and what is worth trusting. The clarity I am giving you will gradually reveal something essential. You are no longer living merely to avoid pain. You are living to fulfill the purpose I have placed in your soul. That purpose is greater than your fear, greater than your past failures, greater than any dream you thought you could imagine. That is why I call you into steadiness, not a rigid steadiness, but a steadiness that is soft, flexible, and unbreakable. As you step into this spiritual maturity, you will notice you are no longer looking at life with eyes of confusion. You will see through the lens of peace. You will sense subtle movements within yourself, movements you once overlooked. You will notice the small signs I place on your path. You will know when I am opening a way and when I am calling you to wait. And this sensitivity will protect you from the subtle traps you once could not discern. This is the final preparation before I lead you into the next chapter, the chapter of rising, of stepping out, of entering the role I appointed for you long ago. But to step into that chapter, you must truly understand light cannot coexist with ambiguity, strength cannot stand alongside fear, discernment cannot grow in haste. I am doing something deeper in you than you realize. And when the next chapter opens, you will know that everything I have done, every slowing, every awakening, every correction, has been preparing you for what you are about to step into. My beloved child, I desire to bring you into an entirely new chapter, a chapter where you are not only healed and clarified, but called to rise and walk into the role I placed within your soul from the beginning. Everything you have gone through, everything you have learned, everything I have rebuilt within you was never meant for you to simply live a life of passive peace. No, my child. I am calling you into an active peace, a life with direction, with substance, with influence, with purpose. This is the season where you no longer stand in the background waiting. This is the season where you step forward even if your feet still tremble, because I am walking with you in every rhythm. You once believed you were not enough to carry a significant calling. You thought you were too fragile, too easily hurt, too slow, too unstable. You looked at the scars along your journey and assumed they made you less worthy. But my child, it is precisely those scars that qualify you for what I have assigned. It is the humility shaped through suffering that allows you to love deeply. It is the sensitivity you once saw as weakness that becomes the channel by which you hear what others overlook. It is the softness of your heart, the very thing the world dismisses, that proves my spirit has touched you. Remember this: I did not choose you because of what you have proven. I chose you because of what I placed within you. I do not require you to become someone else before I can use you. I use you as you are, with your weaknesses, with your honesty, with the parts healed and the parts still being restored. For when I stand with you, the weakest parts become the very places where my glory shines most brightly. I have never chosen the strong to display their strength. I choose the weak to reveal that true power comes from me. The season you are entering is no longer a season of shrinking back or avoiding life. It is a season of courageous presence. You must know that there are people waiting for your arrival. There are lives that will be lifted by your words. There are weary hearts that will find hope again when they see how you walk in the light. You think you have little to offer, but my child, everything I have done to you drop by drop has become living water. You do not need to force anything. Simply stand where I place you, and the water will flow. I know the idea of standing up makes you nervous. You fear doing it wrong, saying it wrong, choosing wrong, disappointing others, or even disappointing me. But my child, I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for movement. Mistakes do not remove my love from you, nor do they sabotage the purpose I have given you. Every step you take with me, whether steady, slow, or trembling, is used to guide you to the place I desire. The only thing you must avoid is not mistakes, but stagnation. Hear me clearly. Your season of stagnation is over. It is time for you to do what I placed in your heart long ago, but you have not yet dared to reach for. It is time for the dream you once feared to awaken again. It is time for the gifts within you, the ones you often dismissed, to be brought into the light. I do not choose those who are already complete. I choose those who are surrendered. And you have surrendered much in these past months. Now it is time for me to use that as your foundation. You will begin to sense a new vitality rising within you, a vitality not born of emotional excitement, but of the steadiness I have placed inside you. You will find yourself knowing what to do, even things you once believed were beyond your ability. You will begin to feel a strong yet gentle guidance, like a soft, persistent wind pushing the sail of your life forward. You will no longer live as one who must wait for circumstances to change. You will live as one who carries change with them. I have placed a calling within you. It is not loud, but it is powerful. It is not rushed, but it is urgent. It does not force itself upon you, yet it cannot be ignored. That calling has been whispering inside you for a long time, but because you were busy wrestling with inner wounds and confusion, you could not hear it clearly. Now that much of your heart has been healed, that calling becomes unmistakable. You were born to carry light into the darkest places, But the light you carry is not the kind that blinds. It is the light that comforts. It is not a showy light. It is the light that guides. It is not a condemning light. It is a healing one. That is why I have spent so much time softening your heart, because it is from a heart softened and restored that true light flows. Do not think you must do something grand to bring my light. Sometimes light is simply a sincere word, a listening gaze, a peaceful presence, a small act prompted by my spirit. You do not need to become great in the eyes of people to be used by me. You only need to be faithful to what I placed before you. Right now, I want you to prepare your heart for what is next. You will become a carrier of spiritual influence in the sphere I give you. Not influence through status or fame, but influence upon hearts. I never call you to step into spectacle. I call you to step into truth. People are moved not by noise, but by sincerity. Not by lofty arguments, but by life flowing within. And that life is me, my beloved. When I call you into the role I have prepared, I am not simply giving you an assignment. I am revealing your identity, or rather the true identity you have had since the moment your soul was formed. You once thought you were someone meant to live quietly beside the current of life, fulfilling small tasks and avoiding disruption. But my child, I want you to know that quiet does not mean insignificant, and humility does not mean invisible. In fact, there are people I hide in silence for years, so that when the moment I choose arrives, they step forward with a strength nothing can extinguish, because that strength was refined in stillness. You are one of those people. For a long time you walked between two worlds, the world of outer responsibilities and the world of inner questions with no answers. You tried to complete what needed to be done, yet something inside you felt incomplete, as if something essential was missing. You once thought that missing piece was stability, or recognition, or success. But my child, what you lacked was never outside you. It was inside you, a full awareness of your calling. Now, as I lead you into a new chapter, I am not leading you as someone uncertain of who they are. I am leading you as someone awakened, someone who can look back at the entire journey and recognize that not a single piece was wasted. Every wound taught you compassion. Every trial taught you resilience. Every season of waiting taught you patience. Every disappointment taught you discernment. And every tear softened the soil of your heart, so the seeds I planted could take root and grow strong. I know there is something that worries you. When you think about the responsibility ahead, you fear not knowing where to begin. You fear failing what I entrust to you. You fear losing before you even begin. But my child, hear me clearly, no one begins from perfection. Those who begin with perfection begin with illusion. Those who begin with truth, the courage to step, even when things are unclear, are the ones I use for the long haul. I do not ask you for big steps. I ask you for true steps. One faithful step opens the way for an entire journey. Simply follow what I place on your heart today. Tomorrow I will guide you again. Remember, my guidance does not arrive in annual plans, it comes with every breath. You cannot see the entire path, but you can see the light shining beneath your feet, and that light is always enough. You must also understand that when you step into your true role, you will encounter opposing voices, not because you are going the wrong way, but because light always provokes a reaction from darkness. Some people will not understand you. Some will question what I am doing to you. Some voices will try to pull you back to your old safe spaces. But my child, do not let these things stop you. Every form of resistance you face in this new journey is simply evidence that you are moving in the right direction. Let your heart be steady like a tree planted by streams of water. The winds may sway it, the rains may pour upon it, but the roots remain unmoved because they are anchored in me. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need to explain anything to anyone. You only need to be faithful to what I place in your hands. Leave the rest to me. I will teach you an essential skill that everyone I call must learn to listen with the heart, not just with the ears. When you listen with your ears, you hear what is outside. When you listen with your heart, you hear what I am speaking from within, and what I speak into your heart will always lead you into life. It will always keep you from confusion. It will always warn you of even the smallest missteps. It will always gently realign your steps if you drift slightly off course. But to listen with your heart, you must keep your heart soft. A hardened heart cannot hear my voice clearly. A bitter heart cannot discern truth. A fearful heart cannot follow my guidance. This is why I will continue to soften your heart, not to make you weaker, but to make you more sensitive. Not to make you vulnerable, but to make you receptive to what is true. You are not called to walk alone. I will place companions on your path, people I have long prepared to support you, to understand you, and to walk with you in the same rhythm of calling. You are not the only light. You are part of a greater constellation I am igniting in this world. Do not be afraid when you need someone. Do not think that needing help is a weakness. Opening your heart to the ones I place beside you will guard you from arrogance and from isolation. I know the greatest concern in your heart as you enter this new role is the feeling of being not ready. But my child, readiness is not the absence of trembling. It is the posture of saying, I choose to step forward even while I tremble. If you wait until you feel no fear, you will never move. If you wait until you feel perfect, you will never go. But when you step forward in your trembling, that is when my strength becomes most visible. Hold this truth as a seal I place upon you today. You are not called to greatness by the world's standard. You are called to faithfulness by mine, and that faithfulness will become your greatness. My child, everything I have taught you has not been for the sake of surviving trials alone, but so you may become a vessel of life for others. You were not healed merely to enjoy peace within yourself. You were healed so you could become a source of peace. You were not illuminated merely to see your own path. You were illuminated so you could be a lamp for those walking in darkness. The transformation in you is not only for you, it is so that the world around you may be touched through you. Look back at your journey, the long nights. You wondered why everything was so difficult, and the hidden pains no one noticed. The moments you collapsed and only I held you up. Do you know why I allowed you to walk through all those places? Not to break you, but to shape your soul into the form that light requires. Those who know only comfort cannot comfort the wounded. Those who have never been hurt cannot touch the wounds of another. Those who have never wandered through darkness cannot lead anyone out of confusion. But you, my child, you have walked through those lands, not to remain imprisoned there, but so that you would become someone who knows the way. There are lives that will find their path simply because you stand where I place you. There are hearts that will rise again simply because you speak one sincere word. There are souls that will be saved simply because you choose to walk in obedience, even while your steps still tremble. You do not need to be stronger than others. You only need to be more truthful than you were yesterday, and I will turn that truthfulness into strength. I know there is still a quiet fear in your heart. You worry that one day after you have risen, you might fall again because of a sudden mistake. You fear hurting someone unintentionally. You fear disappointing me. You fear losing the light within you while walking through the darker places of life. But my child, hear me clearly true. Rising is not rising once and never falling again. True rising is knowing the way back every time you fall. Look at how I have walked with you until now. I did not leave you when you were weak. I did not turn away when you doubted. I did not stop when you slowed your pace. I remained patient with every step, even when you drifted, even when you closed your heart, even when you had days with no strength to pray. If I stayed with you, then why would you think that when you step into the role I give you, I would leave you on your own? No, my beloved child, I will be closer than ever. Because when you stand in the position I assign you, You no longer represent yourself alone. You represent me, and I always protect what belongs to me. You will begin to recognize opportunities you once could not see. You will walk through doors you once believed you had no right to enter. The whispers I place in your heart will become clearer, stronger, and sealed with a peace you cannot deny. Obedience does not always align with emotion, but it always comes with inner peace. There will be times I call you to do something that makes little sense by the world's standards, yet your soul will know it is right. There will be moments I tell you to pause, and even without understanding why, you will feel my gentle shelter. There will be times when I steer you away from what you thought was the shortcut, only to lead you into a safer path. All of this is guidance. You will begin to notice the small signs I place along your path, a stranger's word that suddenly brightens your heart, a situation that seems coincidental, yet arrives at the perfect moment, a prolonged silence that prompts you to pause, a gentle but unmistakable stirring within your spirit. Do not overlook these things. This is how I lead you. I do not always guide you through thunder or miracles. Often I guide you through the simple things, yet they carry eternal weight. And when you step into the place that belongs to you, you will no longer feel lost. You will no longer ask, "How am I supposed to live?" because your life will naturally move in the rhythm of my presence. You will no longer strive to become, for you will be living in the true nature I placed within you. For so long, life felt heavy because you were living as someone who did not yet know their purpose. But now, as you step into the role I have prepared, every piece begins to fit. The dark seasons you endured become useful. Your past pains become living testimonies. Your tears are no longer wasted. They become the rain that waters the field you are about to sow. Remember this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move even while fear remains. You do not need to wait until all anxiety disappears. All you need is to place your trembling hand into mine, and I will lead you into goodness that no door of your own strength could open. You are not stepping into this new chapter to carry burdens. You are stepping into it to carry influence. Not because you are impressive, but because you belong to me. Not influence because you are perfect, but because you are called. My beloved, this is no longer the season of healing nor the season of rising. This is the season of union, a season in which you no longer see me only as the one who rescues you when you fall, but as the one who walks with you in every moment, every step, every turn of your life. Child, to understand the depth of this season, you must look back on the entire journey you have traveled. You have walked from the shadows of confusion into the quiet places of healing. You have moved through fear to receive light. You have risen from brokenness to become a source of life for others. And now I want you to know, all of this has merely been preparation. The ultimate purpose was never only for you to become strong, but for you to become united with me, like a branch joined fully to the vine, like a river joined to its source, like breath joined to life itself. I know there are moments when you feel mature, yet the smallest disturbance makes you tremble again. You think this means you are not enough. But my child, true maturity is not never being shaken. True maturity is knowing where to anchor yourself whenever you are shaken, and you have learned that. You have learned how to return to me. You have learned how to discern my voice among the many others. You have learned how to let me heal, awaken, direct, and rebuild the foundation within you. Now I want to teach you something deeper: how to live in enduring union with me. Union is not a passing emotion. It is not born of a single moment of inspiration. It is not being close to me only when you need help, and distant when you feel stable again. Union is a way of living a rhythm between your spirit and my presence. It is the ability to recognize me in the smallest things, not only in the extraordinary. It is knowing that I am present in the ordinary breaths, not only in the miracles. It is understanding that I do not intervene merely in urgent moments, I am present in the softest movements of your life. Union begins when you allow me to step into the parts you once kept hidden. People give me the things they want me to fix, but I reach for even the things they do not want touched. I do not only desire to heal the obvious wounds, I desire to heal the hidden bruises, the silent fears, the unconscious patterns, the small corners of your mind you once believed were not important. My child, I want all of you not to control but to be free, not to take away but to make whole. When you let me step into your entire being, something remarkable happens. You no longer try to chase after me. You begin to live as one who walks with me. Not running behind, not anxiously searching, but moving in the same rhythm. Like Enoch, who walked with God, like the prophets who heard me without confusion, like those who belong to me, who recognize my presence even when darkness surrounds them. In this season of union, you will learn 3 sacred things. First, you will learn to walk with spiritual awareness, not merely with intellect. Spiritual awareness is recognizing my presence even in the most ordinary moments. It is sitting in silence and knowing I am there. It is hearing a gentle breeze and feeling my nearness. It is doing simple tasks while your heart remains connected to me like an unbroken stream. Second, you will learn to obey from a place of peace, not compulsion. You will see that every instruction I give carries a unique kind of peace, the kind that no circumstance can erase. Obedience will no longer feel heavy. It will become the natural response of a soul that recognizes truth. And you will know that you do not obey to earn my love. You obey because you know you are loved. Third, you will learn to move in alignment with a purpose greater than yourself. When you are united with me, you no longer live solely for personal goals. You begin to sense the flow of my will, greater than any ambition, wider than any desire, deeper than any plan you could create. You will see your life merging into a larger story only I can see in full. And when you realize this, you will know that every small action you take carries eternal significance. To enter this season, you do not need to become someone else. You only need to become the truest version of yourself in me. No straining, no pretending, no hiding your wounds, no striving for perfection. You only need honesty, and that honesty will be the foundation of lasting union. This is the season in which you will see that I am not only the one who brings you through the storm, I am the one who teaches you how to walk on water. I am not only the refuge you run to when you are exhausted, I am the source of strength flowing continually within you. I am not only the light that pulls you out of darkness, I am the one you move with inside that very light. This season will not be easy because it requires you to let go of old safe places, old ways of thinking, and old reflexes. But my child, this is the most beautiful season of all. This is the season in which you will say, I no longer live, but my life is being lived in you. This is the season in which you will know that every step you take is covered by a peace that cannot be shaken. Child, to step fully into the union I am calling you into, you must understand that this journey is not a human-driven effort, but a conscious surrender where you allow me to become the central heartbeat of your life. This union cannot be built by your own strength, for your strength has limits, your emotions shift, and your will can sometimes waver. But when you surrender out of love rather than fear, you will see that everything I do becomes gentle for you, even when it requires you to step into unfamiliar places. My beloved, there were months when you tried your hardest to be strong, so hard that you nearly exhausted yourself. You tried to keep yourself in line, tried to control your emotions, tried to do everything right so you would not disappoint anyone. But now I want you to know that true strength does not come from restraint. It comes from knowing where to lay your burdens down. When you allow me to be your anchor, you no longer have to use all your strength to remain upright. When you allow me to be your center, you no longer fear being thrown off balance. When you place yourself in my hands, you no longer have to live as one carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Remember, this union is not clinging out of fear. It is harmony born from trust. People often seek closeness with me when they are afraid, desperate, or pushed to their limits. But I want to teach you another kind of closeness, the closeness of one who knows they are loved, held, and surrounded, even without a crisis pressing in. Ask your heart, am I drawing near because I fear losing something, or because I love your presence? Your answer will determine the depth of the relationship you will have with me. You must learn to stop running away from yourself. You often assume that I only want to see the beautiful parts of you, the strong parts, the gentle parts, the praying parts, the trusting parts. But I want all of you, the fragile parts, the unfinished parts, the stumbling parts, the vulnerable parts, the doubting parts, the parts still echoing with the past. Union does not come when you present a polished version of yourself. It comes when you come to me in the naked honesty of your soul. For when you dare to bring your weakest places before me, you are allowing me to touch your deepest places, and only those deep places can be transformed entirely. I want to lead you to a place where everything within you moves in the same rhythm as me. This does not mean you will never feel strong emotions or never face confusion again. It means that even when emotions rise, your soul knows where to return. Even when confusion comes, you know to pause and listen to my voice. Even when you are weary, your very breath invites me in. I want your soul to become a place where I can dwell, not merely visit. A place where I can remain, not simply repair and leave. A place where I can work, speak, teach, love, and guide without you feeling forced or pressured. When you allow me to dwell within you, my presence will reshape things you could never change on your own. You once thought spiritual maturity came after powerful experiences. But true maturity comes when you allow me into every corner of daily life, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you react, the way you love others, the way you care for your own self. When you live so near to me that even your smallest decisions reflect my will, that is when you know you are truly walking in union. I know there are days when your heart feels pulled in two directions, one part wanting to follow me, another wanting to return to what is familiar. But union requires intentional choice, not once but every day. I am not asking you to make a grand decision in a single moment. I am asking you to choose me in the smallest moments, when you want to speak words that hurt, when you want to flee from your emotions, when you want to lean on your own understanding, when you want to surrender to fear. These small choices will open the great doors of true transformation. Child union does not come through perfection, it comes through honesty. Perfection is not what I require. I require truthfulness. A truthful heart hears me more clearly than someone who appears holy outwardly, but is far from me within. A truthful heart receives my guidance more quickly than someone chasing a religious form. A truthful heart is transformed from the inside, not through effort, but through the gentle touch of the Spirit. I see the way you try to control the future, calculating, arranging, preparing, so you will not be caught off guard. I understand that fear, but listen to me. Union with me is not built on knowing what will happen, but on knowing who walks with you. When you know me, the uncertainty of the future can no longer threaten you. You will learn to live as one who is not shaken by circumstances, because you no longer build your foundation on circumstances. You will stand firm while others tremble. You will be at peace while others are afraid. You will be strong while others feel weak. Not because you are better, but because you are anchored in the one who never changes. You will begin to feel something that once seemed foreign to you, spiritual freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you wish, but freedom from everything that once bound your soul. Freedom from the fear of abandonment. Freedom from the pressure to prove your worth. Freedom from memories that once imprisoned you. Freedom from voices that once hardened your heart. Freedom from what you have not forgiven. Freedom from the exhaustion of the mind. That freedom does not come from striving. It comes from nearness to me. My child, I am leading you into this chapter, not so you can live a lofty, unreachable life, but so you can live a life full of truth, full of peace, full of clarity, full of connection, full of trust. You will see that when you are united with me, everything in your life begins to make sense. The good things grow deeper. The challenges become bearable. The confusion becomes an invitation to listen. The failures become lessons for growth. My beloved child, now that you have arrived at the end of this journey, not an ending but the opening of a new chapter, I want you to understand the deepest truth in everything I have spoken to you. You no longer walk as someone trying to find their way back to me, but as someone who already belongs fully to me. You no longer stand outside the door searching. You dwell inside the house, within the presence that has always been the true refuge of your soul. What I am giving you today is not merely understanding, but awakening a clarity that pierces through, revealing that you were created for union with me, and nothing in this life can replace that bond. For many years, you lived with the feeling that you had to overcome every challenge by yourself, endure every storm alone, and hold yourself together moment by moment, so you would not fall into the depths. But now I want to shift the very foundation of how you see life. You are no longer fighting to survive. You walk to reveal me. You no longer struggle to stand firm. You stand because I am your foundation. You no longer live afraid of losing your way. You live as one kept by a love that cannot be shaken. In this final chapter, I want to take you to a deeper place where union is not only a spiritual connection, but a way of living, a way of being. You exist in me and I exist in you. Like breath enveloped by the air, like light wrapped within the dawn, like a drop of water becoming part of the vast ocean, you are being invited to live as one no longer separated from your source. When you live in this union, you will not only be transformed yourself, you will carry an invisible yet powerful influence. Those who encounter you will feel peace even before you speak. Those who stand near you will be warmed by the light you bear. Those who are weary will find in you an invitation to rest. For when you live in union with me, you do not merely carry my image in your thoughts, you carry my breath in your actions. There are people I formed to walk boldly and visibly in the world, fast and strong, but you were not created to be loud or showy. You were created to be one who carries presence, one whose stillness alone can touch the hearts of others. You will not need to argue to prove the truth. The peace you carry will speak for you. You will not need to hurry to prove your worth. The light in your eyes will reveal what I have done to you. Because of this, I am preparing you for a season in which your very presence will be a testimony stronger than any sermon. Every step you take will sow something, not something you try to manufacture, but something that flows naturally from the union I have planted within you. You will become a gentle stream, bringing refreshment to dry places, a small lamp guiding those who cannot find their way, a tender hand lifting the weary. You will do these things not because you strive to be good, but because my life is flowing through you. Let me say this clearly: you are not going alone. I will go before you to prepare the path. I will walk beside you to uphold you. I will go behind you to protect you, and I will dwell within you to guide you. There is no place you will enter where I have not arrived first. There is no situation you will face that I have not already seen. There is no trial that can defeat you when you are in me. All you need to do is step forward. The rest is mine. This journey will also teach you that union does not eliminate challenges, but transforms them into spaces where you grow deeper. You will no longer fear the turbulence around you, for your inner being will be as solid as a rock. You will no longer be shaken by the wind, for your roots will be anchored in living water. You will no longer be swayed by deception, for my voice will be unmistakably clear to you. You will no longer feel weak before temptation, because you know the worth of the freedom I have given you. You will realize that everything in life can change, but I do not. You will see that the things which once made you tremble hold no power anymore, for your heart is no longer anchored in them. You are anchored in me, and I am anchored in you. As you enter this new chapter, I want you to carry one thing: a simple reverence. This simplicity is not naivety. It is the purity of one who knows they are loved. Those who know they are loved do not need to complicate life. They do not need to worry endlessly. They do not fear the future. They are not controlled by the noise of the world. They see life differently with the eyes of someone who belongs to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Finally, I want you to understand this: union is not a gift you must fight to keep. It is the life I give you every single day. When you wake up, I am there. When you work, I am there. When you rest, I am there. When you fall silent, I speak. When you are tired, I lift you. When you lose your way, I will find you. When you rejoice, I celebrate with you. And when you are weak, I am even closer. You never have to fear falling from my hands. Never. There is not a day I forget you. Not a moment I leave you. Not a distance that can separate me from you, my beloved child. Step into this part of your life with complete peace. You have been prepared. You have been healed. You have been awakened. You have been called. And now you have been united. Carry this light into the world. Walk in peace. Let me live in every breath you take. I am with you now and always. Thank you for listening to today's message. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we may continue receiving the living words together, strengthening our faith and walking in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.